bits and pieces of information that your customers will want to know as they begin to select your products and learn more about how your product works. So let's go ahead and take a look at product attributes in Trezi Showcase. First off, we're going to go ahead and log in. So please go to showcase.trezi.com. Here is the login screen. You'll enter your registered email for your user account and your password, and then click on Login Securely. Once you're logged in, it brings you to the product catalog. If you're not yet familiar with Showcase, this is the landing page. Anytime you log in, brings you to the product catalog, and whether or not you're viewing by grid or by list will be remembered for each of your sessions. As well, just a quick look around here, we're showing the first 10 of 32 items within my product catalog. Now, Showcase is multi-user, so based on your setup at your company, you may be working with just yourself. You may be the only one that is setting up the catalog, or you may be working with a team. And the team of people that you're working with will also be seeing all of the work here. So just remember that, and be sure to check in with your team in case if you see something new before you go ahead and delete it, because that could raise a problem. Anyways, so here we are, product catalog, listing of all of your items by various columns of information. You're able to look at the status, whether something is published or unpublished, and it will reverse that. Currently, this entire catalog is unpublished at the moment, so that's why we didn't see a change. The create date in terms of when something is created, and so whether it's ascending or descending, and then as well the modification date. So that way there you can understand if something has been modified recently, etc. And then completeness. Here we give you a quick look at whether all of those entries that you are setting up for your product catalog, all of the various attributes that you want to have filled in that deliver the right amount of information to your customers. And so you can see here quickly if any of your items still need some work. Up at the top left, across the top, we have what's called the hamburger menu, but this basically opens up the menu and allows you access to the key areas of Showcase. And so the item catalog, which is where we just are right now, and then the asset inventory log. This is the log listing of all of the activity that will be happening within Showcase itself. Settings, which is where today we'll be taking a look at creating product attributes. And then help and support. Here is where you can access the help system for Trezi Showcase and all of Trezi products as well. So from here, let's go ahead and get into settings and take a look at product attributes. So here we are in settings. You'll notice here just quickly at the top, the breadcrumbs for Showcase have been changed, so you can see where you are at all times, and then you can back your way out in case you get lost and need to find your way home. So within settings are the four main setting areas of Showcase: product attributes, product clusters, product categories, and file types. Now, quickly, product attributes are the smallest, or we'll say the finest pieces of information or data about your product. These are those individual lines, or those, how small or how refined you get with information on your product. Those are the attributes. Product clusters are groupings or a cluster of product attributes. So a cluster of attributes essentially means that all of these attributes go together. So you could have a product cluster called dimensions, and there you would have a series of attributes for length, width, height, etc. All of those dimensions of your product would be in a cluster. And then you have your product categories. Your categories are essentially how you go ahead and organize your products within the categories that make sense within the building industry. There are a variety of organization systems out there that help classify products so that any customer of yours would be able to easily find your products based on these industry-wide classifications. Because there are multiple classification systems, you may be using certain ones and not others, but that's for you to decide. But here with product categories, we allow you to set that up. So that way there you can define and make your products as easily discoverable as possible within Showcase. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at product attributes. Now, as I said, product attributes are the smallest pieces of information about your product, like dimensions, the name, the model number, your SKU number, your SKU, things like that. Now, let's take a look at that. First off, here we are, all of your product attributes. They're just listed here, one right after the other, and getting down to the individual pieces. At the very top of this list, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attributes that are mandatory. You'll notice here that their little checkbox is grayed out. Basically, you cannot select them, meaning you can't delete them or alter them or anything. These are the basics. Every product will need to have these 5 product attributes. That way there, you can rely on this information always being there. And basically, they are the title, the SKU, the brand, your brand within your company. You may have one brand or multiple brands, the model number, and the model name. So you'll want to get this organized and have these be very specific to your products and your company, and always have them be available and ready. You'll also notice that each attribute has 3 specific areas: the name of the attribute, the label, and the type of attribute that it is. And so, excuse me, when we get and talk about types, there are basically 6 types of attributes. And essentially that refers to the type of content that goes into that field for the attribute. You can have open text. This means your basic paragraph of text. You could write a short paragraph, a long paragraph. You could copy and paste in the owner's manual for your product in the open text field. Short text. This is limited. Your typical 256 character short text field. So this is your one-liner. A Boolean. This is your true, false, yes, no, 0, 1 type of entry. So this is going to allow you to have that type of entry for your product. Then for numbers, you have a decimal. So this will be great for if you're doing any type of monetary unit, if you are going to go ahead and have pricing or any type of other type of number that you might have that includes a decimal. And then you have your integers. So your whole numbers, your counting numbers, and then of course a date. And this could be, the date that the product became available, the date the product was updated, the date the product was discontinued even, but any kind of date that you might have for your product. So those are the 6 types of attributes in terms of the field and what it's going to hold. And that way there you can stay consistent with your data across Trezi Showcase. So let's do a little bit of thinking about what do these attributes mean and do. You already have this information probably for your products. You may have a well set of defined attributes that every product needs to have, a structure, etc., or you may not. This may be your time that you're taking to organize your product. But let's go ahead. I'm just going to pull up this spreadsheet here that basically takes a look at what we just covered. So basically here, this requirement for our mandatory attributes, the title, the SKU, the model number, model name, and the brand, and the label that goes with it. And these are, again, all short texts. So this is what's happening here. But now if we take a look at product specific, the ones that we're creating, let's go ahead and take a look at what could be a Boolean. Is the information for the product, is it vertically scalable, horizontally scalable? Can you customize this? Is your product, customizable? That type of thing. Decimal values, it could be a temperature setting. It could be, as I've said before, it could be a monetary unit. It could be any one of those pieces of information. If your dimensions are in decimal or incremental types, most likely any of your dimensional information will be within that. Open text, this can then be any sort of paragraph or lots and lots of information. And then your short text, okay, as I said, this is your one-liner with what's going on there. So keep that in mind as we go ahead and build these out. Now for today, for the example with product attributes, I've gone ahead and I've created, essentially, I've got this product that I want to get listed in, and it's a kitchen sink. And I am, full disclosure here, I am using a Kohler brand specific sink. It's right here, the Kohler Prolific Sink. And I'm doing this just to essentially ensure and demonstrate that Showcase can handle a lot of product information and get you a very significantly done catalog. So now here are all of the attributes that I want to or need to create in order to have this kitchen sink be in my product catalog on Showcase. So here is that first grouping. So here you'll notice I've got the attribute name, and then over here, this is the cluster that they will belong to. All right, so I've gone ahead and thought out how these attributes relate to each other and then relate in groupings or clusters to the product itself. So attribute name, first the mandatory ones, title, SKU, the model number, model name, and brand. So gone ahead and essentially filled in the blanks with the information regarding Kohler's Prolific Sink. So this title is what will show up on your product page. This is like, the name of your product. So that's happening there. The SKU, this is your internal number that, gets populated out. And, it's that sort of jargon language that you've got going. Model number here, I've gone ahead and used the same SKU. Model name, this is a little bit longer, a little more descriptive type of thing. The brand, Kohler, etc. There. So those are my mandatories. And you can see over here on the right, I've gone ahead and just said what type of attribute they are. So that way there I know, I can quickly understand, do I have the right type of information in there? Now, I'm going to go ahead and I've got this next cluster of attributes that I consider to be the product detail. This is that next level of information that my customers will probably immediately want to know and understand to make sure that they're looking at the right product and it's going to be the one that they want. So here we've got product name, a little bit of a repeat, product description short. Okay, so again, a bit of a repeat of information, but that's typically going to happen throughout your catalog. The product SKU, product price. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and have this. This is the first showing of a pricing, and then product description long. So here you'll notice that yes, I have two different attributes for product description: the short version and the long version. And you'll want to make sure that as you do these things, you have an ordered naming convention. Do you say product short description or product description short, product description long? So that way there, as you sort through these lists, you'll always be able to have them. Next cluster is features. Now this is just going to be one attribute with a big chunk of text, open text going on in there. And then next cluster is technical information. So here I have things like material, the installation type, the bowl configuration, etc., all coming down. The codes and standards that it meets, and even some recommended product accessories, other items in your catalog that would go along with this. And then I've also got this care and cleaning section for these attributes here that help understand, what is the product life going to be like, for when your customer goes ahead and purchases, in this case, this sink. All right, so this is what we're working with today. So let's go ahead and use Trezi Showcase to go ahead and start creating these attributes. Now, if you will, let me just go ahead and do a little fun and funky stuff with my screen, so that way there I can see what I'm doing. And let's just do that. Okay, so here we are. Boom. Okay. Good, that looks good. So product attributes, I'm going to go ahead and create a new attribute. Clicking on that button, first thing it wants to know, well, what kind of attribute are you creating? Okay, so I know that all of my standard ones are going to be the short text. So these mandatory ones, I do not need to create. Those will be there for any product that I add into my product catalog. So you never actually need to create those attributes. They will always be part of your product as you create your products. So what I'm doing now is creating all of these other ones that happen on down. So I'm going to start out with the short text here for my product name. Let me go ahead and just shorten this over to here. And we'll be good. So short text. And let's see. Oops. Click on next. Okay. So now you'll get to watch me do a lot of copy pasting. So copy, paste. And then you'll notice here as I type in the product name, the label is created automatically, so you don't need to worry about that. We'll go ahead and click on save. All right, so you'll now see here that I now have this thing here called product name, and there'll be short text, and there's my label. So this is essentially what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and create this section here for the product description. So short text. Okay. I just like to kind of do things in order here, get a little repetition set up so that way there my brain can remember if I did everything, and I know that I've got things created as I need them. And so this really helps if you have large monitors or maybe even a couple of monitors. So that way there you've got all this information right in front of you as you need it. Oh, product price, I made a mistake there. I need actually a Boolean. Excuse me. Whoops, we're really screwing up there. Decimal values, yay. Okay, so here we go. Product price, boom, product price, save. And then we're going to create the product description. So that wants to be our open text. And let's do this, product description, Control C, name, piece, space, save. All right, so very quickly, let's just go ahead and take a look. In this series here, I've now created this set of product descriptions, long, product price, product SKU, product description short, and product name. So all of these attributes, I can now quickly review them, make sure they're correct. If I needed to edit anything, I could come in here, click on edit. I could edit the name and update it, okay? If it is the wrong type, I would need to delete it and recreate that product attribute. So just keep that in mind. So those are the product attributes. I'm going to go ahead, and sort of end the recording here, but I'm going to go ahead and create all of those other attributes. So that way there, you can see how it all comes together. So anyways, look forward to you watching the next video, which will be all about product clusters. Thank you.